Hello, everyone. Welcome to this second Sunday meditation that Kat and I do every second Sunday of the month with Awakening Truth. Uh, I'm Brian, and with me is Kat. And today we are going to I'm going to do a short talk on um, how do we develop an equanimous state of mind. And Kat's going to lead us in a guided meditation. So find your comfortable spot just to sit in and allow this the talk and the meditation to really sink in. I like to think of the words like Dharma rain, to just let it permeate the soil and not trying to really grasp everything, but just letting the overall flavor and what you take out from the talk and from the meditation. So how do we develop an equanimous state of mind? As we mature in our practice, we touch into this equanimous state of mind. Yet it can be at times rather ephemeral. Equanimity is the seventh factor of awakening, and it was a list very different than any other list that the Buddha gave. It was a list of qualities of mind. And so how do we maintain this equanimous state of mind? We can often touch into it, visit it, but how do we work with maintaining it and increasing that window that we're in this equanimous state of mind? And this is particularly challenging when we're faced with unconscious people or rattled by unconscious leaders. My teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, Thai, mentions becoming an island unto ourselves, taking refuge into our practice. And for this to be successful, we need to mind our window of tolerance with challenging people and challenging events. And challenging people can be in our own family, often are in our own family, or they can be in the larger society. And staying inside this window of tolerance can look different for each of us. How do we balance being in this window of tolerance? Can look, the practice of that can be very different for each and every one of us and can vary in time how it is for us. So with our mindfulness practice, we incorporate our challenges into our practice and know when to practice self-care or when self-care is very, needed. And this is very important. Mahatma Gandhi, the great spiritual leader, when he was leading a nonviolent civil disobedience movement in India, he would take one day a week to be in his silent retreat day, and he wouldn't talk. And no matter what was going on, he would write you have to write him a note. And just the time was very brief, and he was right back into his silence, into his mindfulness. Um, so he would retreat and take and maintain this self-care practice. So when we fall outside of our window of tolerance, we can find ourselves being taken over by a smaller sense of self. We subject ourselves to this fight, flight, freeze modes of survival, a place where anxiety and overwhelm can easily take us over, can hijack us. And this is a call to practice self-care and self-compassion and to really incorporate what's going on into our practice. every day, every hour, every minute, always checking in with ourselves. So for me personally, in the start of 2025, I felt personally threatened and scared by the changes that were taking place in this country. I was absorbed in the news and I was getting angry and I was feeding my anger and I was feeling rage and I was outside my window of tolerance. And I could see how my anger, if left unchecked, could develop into hatred. This was a completely new experience for me. I haven't experienced the toxic energy of hatred ever before, or just seeing that as a place to, if anger is left unchecked or onward. And so my anger was proliferating, and I was feeding my anger, and I was in a vicious negative feedback loop. Now here's the thing. I'm an ordained long-time practitioner of meditation. I've been practicing over 40 years. And so I was like, I got to do something about this. I got to take care of my anger. I got to observe this. I got to be with this. I got to sit with this. And while I knew this, there was a part of me that felt like my anger had some control over the situation, that I could feel some sense of control by being angry, which delayed my dropping into my practice a little bit. And I was aware of that. I was observing this in myself and knowing that I got to sit with this. I got to work with this. And so the first thing I needed to do was to change certain habits. I almost needed to completely break from mainstream news and stop feeding my anger. That was the first thing I really had to do. You know, I had to let go of this feeding this. And still today, I watch extremely little news, and I can still stay informed. But the next step was taking refuge in my sangha, taking refuge in my sangha, and taking refuge in my spiritual friends and spiritual friendships. And then lastly came to need the practice metta and compassion, and sending metta and compassion to those who I perceive as the source of my anger. And all those steps, they develop together simultaneously, but they needed to be worked for me personally. I needed to sit with them. For a few, uh, so I spent a great amount of time in the next couple months of sitting with this. And so for this to be possible, it needed practice. It needed my time to sit with this. And I sat with the 7 factors of awakening, this list. I did my meditation. 7 factors of awakening. They're part of the Anapanasati. Uh, and so these 7 factors of awakening, they're a list of qualities of mind. This is a list very different than any other list that the Buddha has made before. He came and talked to his, right, it was right before he died. And he gathers his monks and bhikkhus and he gave them a list of the 7 factors of awakening. And this was a list of what he discovered in his practice. And this is a list not of precepts, not of this, but a list of qualities of mind. And these qualities of mind are mindfulness. It's the first factor of awakening, mindfulness, investigation, tuning into what's here now, dropping into the energy, the third factor, energy for the practice, or right effort, sometimes called. The fourth factor is joy. And joy, not some over big, bubbly joy, but just a really simple joy, the joy of being, the joy of just being alive, the joy, a very simple, peaceful joy. And the fifth factor is tranquility. And that's when we're dropping away from thoughts and thinking. And then the sixth factor is concentration, like a soft focus concentration is how I like to see that. We're dropping into a more a spaciousness, inner spaciousness, and deep calm. And equanimity, the seventh factor, being with all that is, as it is. So my meditation practice, I was working diligently on developing these, 7 factors of awakening. These factors are often present, but they can be rather elusive. So it's very helpful to tune into them when they arise. So after a few months of, and even continuing, always continuing, every day, refreshing, awakening into a deeper sense of soft focus, concentration, and equanimity, working on maintaining that state, and really dropping into a deeper inner peacefulness and spaciousness, inner spaciousness, calm. I was able to develop compassion for those I considered to be the cause of my anger, that I perceived as my cause of my anger. And so the insight that came to me was that most people who are causing harm to other people are unconscious. And even when I cause harm to myself by proliferating, if I proliferate anger, I'm in a can be touching into an unconscious state of mind. But people who are causing harm are unconscious. They're unconscious of this inner state of peacefulness and clear spaciousness. It's impossible to cause harm in that state of inner spaciousness and peacefulness. So I sat with that and I could feel compassion. I could feel deep compassion for people for those that I perceived as a source of my anger. Not that that was, excused, but I could feel compassion. And with feeling that compassion, I could send out metta for transformation. And that's a very helpful practice. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Brian. I'd like to invite us to either sit down or lie down for this practice. So if you are walking, you can hit pause and come back to this practice when you can sit or lie down. And so as you're seated, I want to share with you some about how your seat will support the seven factors of awakening as you sit. I think sometimes we just go to a practice and Um, maybe we've already sat for many years, or maybe we're new. So I just want to break down that piece of it so that when you go in, um, you're setting up the conditions for a supportive practice. Okay, so let's start by if you're seated on the floor or on a chair. You're going to be at the edge of the cushion or at the edge of your chair, not so you fall off, but just so your hips can rotate forward and you can have two connection points of your low body on the earth, either your knees or your feet, and then two connection points on your seat. So you have the two connecting right at the base of your pelvis and then right at your knees and your feet. And this way, these connection points create the foundation. If you're lying down for this practice, I'd like you to prop your knees up and your feet can either be floating and you have the connection point of your glutes again on the earth and your low back. So just making sure that you have those points connected as we begin. And then we'll do a gentle sway and close our eyes. For those of us on the floor, we're going to sway into the earth. And for those of us seated, we're going to sway side to side. And then with your breath, inhaling, bring your sway forward and back. For those of you on the earth, this is very gentle. You're watching the natural pace of your breath, and your sway can be more or less than your breath. It's what just comes. It's not something you're thinking about. Often I'm a trauma-informed coach and I do a lot of architecture around trauma-informed. And the sway is this anytime we're in an intense emotional state of anything, this sway is a natural way for the body to signal to the mind and the heart, I'm safe. I'm safe right now. So we start with this way to find the center place of the body and to balance the body's physiological nature into this moment. And that's what we're doing here. And as we find this center place, it might be that you need to sway for most of this practice, or you bring in a sway. So I want to invite you, encourage you to use the sway. All right, now closing the eyes, I'd like you to picture yourself in a field and there's all this grass in the wind. This is the nature of the sway, that it moves with just a natural pace, a natural way about it. And it can, again, change how fast and how slow. And once you find that place where you want to come to stillness, or maybe you want to keep moving, then we come into the nature of the arms. Often we carry a lot in the shoulders, regardless of the emotion. So I encourage you to bring your elbows in closer and then let the arms, as part of the sway or the stillness, become a place of recharge and rest and heaviness. That anything in the shoulders can start to roll off the sides and the back. In this way, the heart is going to naturally lift a little bit, and then you'll lift the back of the head just by dropping the chin. One thing that's important, I think, with the head and neck alignment when I practice is to consider the location of the focus of the concentration. If the focus of the concentration is up in the body and it's supporting an upward movement, you might lift the chin at various times. And then if you're focusing on the foundation and weight of the body, you might drop your chin. So both are accurate and both are supportive. In this practice, you're going to use both today. So the invitation there is to track what happens when you lift or when you drop, and you'll hear it. And you might do different than when I say. I encourage you to follow your own guidance, your own inner guidance there. So finding your way into the weight of the body, into the weight of the breath, and witness the breath breathing itself. Witness the gentle forward action of the pelvis, how it's forward, and start to breathe into the low body with an inhale. And with the exhale, release into the earth of the low body. Now, the upper half of the body, inhale, and exhale the weight of the body into the earth. Now, the whole body on this inhale, and exhale the weight of the whole body on this exhale. We're going to move through a gentle realignment and transformation in meditation. If at any time you feel uncomfortable with the guidance, come back to that breathing of the weight or the sway. Take care of yourself, be a refuge to yourself, and consider Brian and I your spiritual friends as you travel on this journey together. So as you breathe the body and you witness, let go of being that doer. Let go of being the one who knows. Right now, you are surrendering to the now. Right now, you are surrendering to the now. Let the body breathe itself. It does this naturally. Let it feel the weight and density of the body. Bring attention to how much is in the body in this moment. Awareness of all the fluctuating movements, sensations, density, weight, softness, all the experiences of being a body. And as you inhale, notice them. As you exhale, release into the earth. The breath is natural, and the breath notices all the physical ways the body is. Today we will breathe through the body. This practice is called cellular breathing. And the intention here is to transform emotions into equanimity. I invite you to wiggle your toes. As you wiggle them, begin to feel the breath. Breathe into the big toes on each feet. As you breathe into the big toes, you will stay with your breath in the big toe. Let the rest of the body relax as you breathe and concentrate softly into the big toes. You're breathing into the nail bed, the sides, the top, the bottom. the weight and density. And as you exhale, you stay in the big toe. Breathing now into the second and third toes with the big toe. So keeping the focus in the big toe with the second and third toes. And relaxing the rest of the body. As you breathe into the toes, you feel, what's their pressure points, what's their tension, what's their weight, what's their shape. As you breathe in, you let the air of your lungs now become the air of your toes, first three toes on each feet. And as you exhale, keep the breath in the toes. In this way, we are waking up a new faculty of breathing. Let yourself be open to this new way of being. Breathing now into the fourth toe on each foot. And as you exhale, relaxing the body, keeping the first three toes in your awareness, breathing with the fourth toe. The sides, the top, connection points. Bringing to mind the awareness of all four toes on each foot as you breathe in. You're aware of the breath flowing into the toe. As you breathe out, you're aware of the breath staying with the toes. It's like you're filling up the toes with your air. Bring to mind awareness of the pinky toes. You can wiggle them again with the other four toes. Now all the toes in your consciousness. And the breath is alive without controlling the breath other than bringing the awareness to the toes. Watch how the breath fills the toes, lengthens, expands, charges the toes, and stay with that energy and relax the rest of the body. The intention is to bring up um, intense vibration, charge in the body. That's the intention. Let that happen. And now breathing into the connection points of the toes down to the feet and feeling the whole top half of the foot with the toes on each foot. As you breathe in, you fill this energy with awareness and all of your breath. As you breathe out, you stay in the experience of the feet and start to fill up all of your feet, the sole, the arches, the outside, the top, and the bottom with your breath. Inhale to feel the toes and the feet. Exhale, breathe deeper, awareness deeper into the body. You'll notice the weight, the inside of the feet, very unfamiliar place to inhabit. Normally we go outside in meditation. We're going from the inside out. So it's a very different experience. This is okay. Perhaps it's familiar for you. Just notice, is this familiar? Is this different? pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, without clinging to one of those Vedana or feeling tones. We continue. Inhale, breath. Exhale, stay in the toes and the feet. Without clinging to the concept, without clinging to knowing, we begin to surrender our energy into something that expands us, grows our awareness, because we don't know what will be in the body. Breathing into the ankles now, ankle bone, the Achilles, the skin, the bones, with the feet and the toes. Inhale, staying in the feet and the toes and ankle. As you exhale, breathing into the calf muscles, the lower leg, and the knee, with the ankle, the feet, and the toes. Inhale, exhale, gently drop the chin, bring the elbows in. Awareness on the lower legs, feet, and toes. All the awareness in the lower legs, feet, and toes. If it's uncomfortable, if it's charging up in a way where, oh man, what am I feeling? Then you're on track. And if your focus is still coming in here, that's perfect too. Be in the now, be in the present. Breathing into the lower leg, feet, and toes. Exhale, stay in the lower legs, feet, and toes. Breathing now into the connection point of the knee up to the quads, the muscles, the femur bone, into the hip socket on the pelvis. For most of us, this is a tender place, emotional place. And so any emotions that come up in this practice, we surrender them into the breath. And we let the charge of the body, the breath of the body, burn up the energy on its own. Inhale to feel the pelvis, the connection right at the glutes, all parts of the hip structure and muscles, down through the legs, down through the knees, lower legs, ankles, feet, and toes. And in this way, everything from the belly button down is awakened with your breath, awakened on the inhale, and relaxing the body, entire body, with all the focus in the lower body on the exhale. In this way, there might be a buzzing or there might be enlivening, charging. You use your own word. You just don't have to label it. Let the concepts float past you without clinging to them. Let the breath guide you. Let it show you what it means to breathe into the low body. Breathe into the awareness of everything in the low body, anything that comes to mind. Sensation that's physical, one part that maybe the ankle is pushing into a part of the leg. Let the entire focus of the breath charge up into the hips, legs, ankles, feet, toes. In this way, we're training the mind to balance the experience of being in the body, to balance the experience of uncomfortable sensation. Sometimes micro adjustments call to us, oh my gosh, I have to move that knee, or I have to shift that thing. Do that, please. This is not a rigid practice. Allow yourself to breathe into the low body on the inhale and on the exhale. And notice how different it is to breathe into the low body now than it was at the very beginning of practice. And keep the focus there on the low body, right there in the points of heat and pressure, density and weight. And breath on the inhale, breath on the exhale stays in the low body. Noticing now the belly, and this is our stress response, our gut reaction. We're going to treat it just like every other part of the body. We're going to allow the breath to flow into it and allow the entire low body to breathe with it. In this way, the belly is never alone. We are never alone. We are breathing with each other in this practice. The body breathes with all other parts in your awareness, the low body and the belly. Awareness of the side bodies up to the armpits, entire front of the chest up to the collarbone, shoulders. This way you have the sides of the body, the front of the torso with the low body. You're breathing in, and we're noticing what is the internal organs doing? What are the diaphragm, lungs, heart, stomach, intestines? What are they all doing? Letting them breathe, letting them have weight, letting now the back body, you might be noticing, oh my gosh, I can't feel my back body. Let that be. Excuse me. Now breathe into the whole torso, the whole lower body, besides the arms, all the way up to the neck. And you can notice, wow, I can feel my arms because I'm not aware of them. Interesting, huh? Interesting. So breathing into the body, everything in the torso and the low body, and breathing out into the body, everything in the torso and the low body. In this way, the cells of the body, what makes up the body, has your awareness and your breath. And in this way, you can breathe, functionally breathe, physiologically breathe from this place, scientifically shown. And trust that the toes have as much awareness and breath capacity as the back of the heart and the bottom of the seat. Trust that all parts of the body here breathe with your awareness. Invite yourself into this new way of breathing. Awareness now in the fingers. And I'd like you to open your palms to the sky and then place your palms down. Notice the difference. If you're lying down, you're going to place your palms down. If you're seated, I want you to place your palms up. Breathing into the fingers with the entire torso and low body. Breathing through the palms and the entire hand, the back, the front, the sides. the inside. Be inside the hands and fingers with the inside of the torso and the low body. Breathing into the wrists, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder. And wow, what a connection point to be breathing into every part of the body, the neck down, feeling how the breath moves through the inside of the body, the muscles, the tissues, the blood, the nerves, physical weight and flowing movement of the body has all the breath. The inhale and the exhale. Notice the anticipation to include the neck and head and allow that to naturally flow up with breath, feeling the sides of the neck, the back of the neck, and the front with the entire body below the neck. In this way, you're never leaving yourself. You are staying with the whole connection of breathing in with the body and breathing out with the body. This important vessel to care for, bring self-compassion. In this way, as your breath and your soft concentration enlivens the energy naturally through the nature of the practice, it wants to flow up to the jaw. So let that happen. The back of the head and the hairline, the ears, the eating muscles, the breathing muscles in the head, the ones we're most familiar with. Now you're in the space that perhaps if you're a Vipassana or other Dharma practitioner of breath, you focused a lot in this area. And it's one of the last places we'll go. Because sometimes that's all we have is to work with strong emotions, strong circumstances that are the last place we would go, want to be. And now the most familiar and helpful thing is right here with you. Feel the entire face, head, and neck with the entire body. On the exhale, let that weight be soft, relaxed, and let the breath start to flow like a current through the whole body. Witness the movement of breath through the whole body, through the cells of the body, the inside of the body. We'll call this current the breath current. Feel the breath current of the body. This is not what you can read in an anatomy book. This is the body itself right here, the felt experience, your direct experience. Throw out your old models, your old ideas. Be in the direct experience of the breath current. In this way, the breath current can naturally burn intense emotions, intense karma on its own, without your will. Breathe into the charge of the body, the current of the body. Some might call this light, some might call this energy, some might, you choose your name. The name is less important than the direct experience, feeling the breath through the whole entire body. And notice the lack of fatigue, a lack of maybe a weariness that could come into practice. This is the factor of awakening of energy. It is alive in the breath of the whole body. There is a tranquil space, and I want you to go find it in the body. Where is it for you? Is it a couple inches below the belly button? Eastern traditions call this dantian. Is it in the heart? Is it in the throat? Back of the throat? Is it along the whole line of the spine? Some really focus on that Sushumna, Tibetan practices. You choose. Where is the tranquility of the body? Let the direct experience of the breath current through the whole body guide you. Let the body's breathing of itself show you where is tranquil, where is presence with the whole body. You're becoming an investigator, another factor that you're learning how to listen, to investigate with surrender. Letting the body be the guide, the breath be the guide. And you'll notice perhaps the awareness wants to stay with the whole body or stay with a single point. Follow that either way. And this is where our practices become unique to our own individual guidance of our own individual body and breath. We've come from the same root of the practice, same foundational place. And now we begin to grow in our own direction out of the root and that foundation. We set up the conditions for many factors of awakening to naturally open us here, breathe us, be us. As we each are the roots of the cultivation of practice, we are each the growth of the practice. This happens in one sitting, just like this. This beautiful, beautiful plant grows of direct experience of awakening. It is so immeasurable, the beauty of this level of compassion for yourself, this level of awareness and soft focus, this level of energy, tranquility, equanimity, becoming this place where, oh wow, do I feel equanimity? Check in. Is it here? And what is the experience? And often there's, again, this either inward or outward flow. This is an outward flow of expression. We've awakened energy within. We've become an experience of within to begin to see how it will flow out. So set the intention here. Is there someone or a group or a place or a being or part of life that could really use this outward flow, this expression that I have so beautifully, each of us have so beautifully grown here? Where is this breath current going to flow today in this next moments after you come out of this meditation? Where will it flow? Set your intention there to offer all of yourself, surrender yourself, to lift up the energy, bring it more energy, bring it more lightness and humor and compassion naturally. Let it flow from this practice, just as it flowed from the roots of our connecting breath and our body. Where will it flow today, this week? Let this intention fill your entire direct experience to be an anchoring. I can anchor in what I have experienced here and where it will go. This is my intention. This is my first step. Take another breath into the current of the entire body. Letting the intention become what it's meant to become. Letting it release. At the sound of the bell, we'll slowly surrender and release out of the practice. And we'll hear the bell open our body to a new experience, a new being here. Thank you for joining us. Blessings to your day. Much metta on your path. Loving kindness and friendship. Thank you.